Hello and welcome everyone. I hope you had a blessed week. I'd like to share with you all an important message and reminder from 1 Corinthians 10, verses 11 and 12, which says, "Now all these things happened unto them for ensamples, and they are written for our admonition, upon whom the ends of the world are come. Wherefore let any man that thinketh he standeth take heed lest he fall." In order for us to understand this verse, it's important that we know the context behind it. Starting at the beginning of 1 Corinthians chapter 10, Paul is recounting to the Corinthians the experiences that the children of Israel went through in the wilderness. He talks about how they were led by the Spirit of God in the cloud, how they were given spiritual food and spiritual water, which in reality was Jesus Christ, although they didn't know at the time, and they had great spiritual light given to them throughout their journeys. However, despite all of this, they were still reprimanded and God still had problems with them. They continued to do idolatry and they continued to fornicate and to commit great evil until God ended up punishing them in the wilderness. This brings us back to verse 11, where Paul said that all of these things happened unto them as examples, or in other words, for their education and for their learning, not only so that they would understand that what they were doing was wrong, but also so that we later, who would come and would become the spiritual people of God, or spiritual Israel, could look at physical Israel as well as the many other lessons in the Bible and learn from them, so that we could take heed and not fall, Paul says, into the same traps of sin that they did, because we can see what the consequences and the evil that came upon them, and that could have been avoided if they had listened to the voice of God speaking to them. Not only does Paul remind us that we're in the end of time, in which these things and sin and evil will greatly abound, but he also encourages us all to take heed and to be careful, lest any of us think that because we have the knowledge of God and we have great light, as the people of Israel did, that we are safe from falling. As it says in Proverbs, pride goes before a fall, and so we have to always be alert and vigilant that even though we have been blessed so greatly by God and given such great knowledge, if we assume that we're safe when we really aren't, we can fall back into sin and to evil. So let us be confident and let us take assurance in being connected with God, not just in the fact that we have spiritual light. Let us put our trust only in Him and not in ourselves, and take heed from what we learn in God's Word.